Welcome to Journaling with Nature, the podcast for those who want to turn curiosity into wonder, a pencil sketch into a rabbit hole of discovery, a moment of stillness into a life full of joy. I'm your host, Bethan Burton. Let's open the pages of our nature journals and explore this world together. Hello, this is episode 115. How are you doing? How did you go with our previous prompt, which was all about finding a little window in your schedule to make time for regular journaling? Last time I talked about how I've been using this productivity method where you do 25 minutes of work and then you take a 5-minute break. I've been doing this with my research job, and I thought that it would be good to try using the 5-minute windows in between sessions of work to get some journaling done. I tried it, and to be honest, it wasn't that successful. I would grab my kit and I would race outside, plonk myself on the ground and find something to sketch, but it didn't feel like it was in the right mindset or the right spirit of nature journaling. Being on a timer is not what I want for my journaling time. I want to be present and not wondering when the timer is going to go off. I want to take time to settle in and get comfortable and look around and tune in to all the things that I can hear and see and smell around me. I don't want to have to do any of this with the time pressure because that just doesn't feel useful. So I ditched that idea, but the prompt from last time is still important, and finding a window in the schedule that works and feels good is still a good thing. But for me, it came in a different form. Last year, I bought this pocket diary, and it's got 5 years on one page and just enough space to make some notes. And I've started writing notes each day about what I see around me. And recently, I've been seeing lots of yellow-tailed black cockatoos and sulfur-crested cockatoos, and they fly over the trees above my house. And it's been raining a bit here, so I put that down in my diary. It's mostly words, but sometimes it's a tiny sketch as well. And it's different from my normal journaling practice, but it's really doable every day, which is important for me to get into a rhythm, to get into a way of nature journaling that makes sense for my current schedule and these very small windows of time that I find myself with at the moment. It's a way of keeping track of the changes in my yard and make small observations that I can do regularly. I also did some sketching this week out on the front lawn, and it was nice, but it got me thinking about being comfortable and how important that is. When you go outside, you're being bitten by mosquitoes, or you forgot your hat, or you're getting sunburned, or you sit down on the wet ground and your bottom is getting wet. It's hard to drop into that place of flow in journaling. So today's prompt is this: make yourself comfy. Make bug spray, sunscreen, a hat, or whatever you need to be comfortable part of your essential nature journaling kit. If you have difficulty with hip mobility and it's not comfortable sitting on the ground, then make a folding camp chair part of your kit. Bring along a square of foam cut from a yoga mat or something else to sit on in the field. Or if you can sit on the ground, bring along a square of foam cut from an old yoga mat or something else to sit on in the field. Or maybe you love a warm brew and you get yourself a thermos and bring a comforting cup of tea along. Whatever you can do to make yourself comfortable will enhance your enjoyment of the journaling experience. This week in my garden, I came across this plant that I'd never noticed before. It had these lovely round, bright magenta fruits hanging down. I don't know what they are yet, but there were lots of them and they were in my garden, so I felt okay to clip off a sprig with some leaves and a couple of fruits. And I brought them to my desk and I started sketching there, and I had a really wonderful journaling session. And I was reflecting how journaling from life, indoors from a plant specimen or from a found nature treasure, can sometimes be where I'm most focused and curious and in flow. And I'm wondering if this is because of being comfortable and minimizing all the other things that can distract and detract from the experience. I know the value of sketching outside, and I really adore this too. But I'm often distracted by the elements or things that make me uncomfortable, like I've sat myself down on an ant's nest again or whatever it is. Sometimes I find myself really calm, curious, and connected with my nature journal page when I'm drawing from life at my drawing table. I much prefer drawing from life than from a photograph. I love holding a leaf or a twig or a piece of lichen in my hand and drawing from that. I think sketching outdoors is super important too, but we can make an effort to get comfortable where we are so that we are able to drop into that place of focus and flow. For some people, sketching in weird and wonderful places and positions is half the fun of nature journaling, and that's fine, of course. I'm thinking instantly of Marley Pfeiffer, who you may know from YouTube on the Nature Journal show. Marley absolutely loves challenging himself to nature journal in some very physically challenging situations and locations. He's amazing, and I love the way he stretches himself like that. I'm sure one day we're going to see Marley nature journaling from the end of a bungee cord or while skydiving. If you are the adventurous, sketch anywhere type of person, then that is absolutely wonderful. And if, like me, you find that discomfort detracts from your journaling experience, then I invite you to think about ways that you can make yourself more comfortable when you're out in the field and never feel like you're not doing it right or that your page is not valid if you choose to bring a nature treasure inside and journal at the kitchen table. Claire Walker Leslie herself, who is the grandmother of nature journaling, often nature journals inside from her window looking out, and that is completely valuable and valid for you as well. I'd love to mention here that it's important to be mindful of what we bring indoors if you do like to nature journal with found objects too. I love the rule of thumb that you should pick up rather than pick, meaning bring home pine cones, stones, fallen leaves, and things like that, but try not to pick things from a living plant unless it's in your own garden or if you know that it's a weed. That way we know we're not disturbing the natural systems too much. When I bring home nature treasures, I think of it like borrowing something from a library, and I always return the nature treasures when I'm finished investigating them in my journal. So for me, drawing from life at my desk sometimes feels like a really great way to connect with nature and to be comfortable at the same time. What makes you feel comfortable? Can you think of ways that you can make your time outdoors more comfortable? Could you bring a chair or a hat or an extra layer of clothing if you're experiencing wintertime right now? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. You can follow the link in the show notes to the Journaling with Nature website where you can leave a comment. Thank you so much for listening. See you next week.